So I'm filthy. I haven't taken a shower. I did brush my teeth.
I just finished 20 pizza rolls, so
That sounds delicious.
it was.
Is there some intro music?
Well,
No intro
We
music?
have something that gets added somewhere. I don't know.
I can't see you unless you talk, man.
Oh, really? You can't?
There's
Yeah,
a
you have to be
button.
the-
Well, let me assure
I see
you that I
everyone.
counted us down, folks.
He did.
You did. That's not how we do it, but I guess whatever. Welcome to another exciting edition of Missouri Swagger. I realized when we finally launched season 2, episode 1 the other day, that it was our 20th episode. So
Wow,
we
well,
could have
there you
had
go.
episode 20, but instead, like dumbasses, we didn't look it up. So welcome to season 2, episode 3 of Missouri Swagger, because that's how we fucking decided
Hey.
to do it.
We're going to get 20 episodes
What's
of
up?
season 2 easy.
Oh, at least.
3 in the can right now.
We-
Unless one of us dies in the next hour.
Well,
Anything's
you know.
possible.
I did just eat a mother load of pizza rolls. That could just kill me instantly.
I'm jealous. Evie just went to the grocery store this morning and she bought, because we needed groceries, but she bought a huge amount of stuff that it all has to be disinfected now.
Yeah, that's the
But
worst
there's
part of
pizza.
groceries now.
There's pizza.
But you have to disinfect.
Can't have it yet, but I'm going to eat that pizza.
I'm
I get
worried
one-
about when I run out of the disinfecting wipes that I use to clean my groceries off.
You buy more.
They're not available. No one has them.
You're fucked. That's the end of you.
That's it. I just don't get groceries.
You'll be
I
fine.
think you get groceries.
Use soap and water.
Yeah, there are ways around this.
You can make your own, by the way. You can take vinegar and make your own, or peroxide and make your own spray.
Peroxide. Who just has peroxide lying around? I'm
I
not
do.
Dr. Quinn medicine.
How the fuck do you get a blood stain out of the clothes if you don't have peroxide laying around?
All my bloodstained clothes go in the Halloween decorations.
I incinerate all mine.
Fair enough. I guess you guys are blood staining for different reasons than I am.
Yeah, that's.
I actually have a guy
Honestly.
on retainer to take care of my bloodstained clothes. He handles it.
I have a child that gets bloody noses, and so every once in a while I'll wake up to a child who's climbed into my bed is screaming because blood is pouring onto his pajamas. So I have to de-blood clothes a lot.
Cool.
I don't know that I've ever used peroxide to get blood out of clothes, though.
That's how you're supposed to.
Wash them.
Well, that's why your blood stains stay bloody.
That's why you are going to run out of disinfection wipes.
Yeah.
And you won't have anything to clean your food with.
Yes,
Sorry, buddy.
it is what it is, friend.
If that's the worst thing that happens to me this year, I'll be all right.
It's
Nope.
not.
It's
Too late. Too late. Too late. It's already not the worst thing.
no chance of that. Oh, so how's everybody doing? Been enjoying your quarantine?
I
That was a
am
question.
doing
Great. Actually, it's fine. I'm on day 18 of quarantine,
Yeah.
and I'm doing great. How about you, Cullen?
I'm doing all right. I kind of have a good day and then a bad day, a good day and a bad day. Today started out as a good day, and then I got kicked right in the junk.
It's a lot of junk kicking going on.
There
You're-
is
I
a lot
noticed-
of kicking,
I
but,
noticed
I'm trying to
you-
stay positive. See,
Yeah, you look great. You look like $1 million. I noticed you adjusted the lighting in your office to match your mood.
no, I just turned it all off. Oh wait, that actually looks all right. Yeah,
It looks.
I'm not in a bad mood. I'm just kind of. I'm feeling I feel like everybody's feeling that. That's the one bit of comfort I can take, is that everybody's going through this kind of nightmare scenario in
just
different
you.
ways. So misery loves company.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Like, I feel like I came to terms with the dominoes that were going to fall pretty early. Like I read a bunch of stuff and listened to some stuff with like infectious disease experts or whatever, and kind of did the mental math of, okay, in a month, this is going to suck really hard and people aren't taking it seriously. So it's been interesting this week as I think things are about, like people are finally accepting, oh shit, it's going to get real bad. It's been interesting watching people come to that conclusion that I've had for a while, which makes my anxiety and fear go up, even though I've been trying to process it.
It makes it go up?
Yeah, just having everybody seems scared now. Like there was a period of time where like lots of people were still like, this is nothing. You're blowing it out of proportion.
I still see a lot of that. I mean, even this week I've seen people, this is nothing more than the flu. Still.
Well, it's because they haven't seen anybody with it yet.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. So, yeah. Anyway, it's a little bit weird to watch the world react to something from a fucking bunker because I interact with no one, at least this week. Next week I'll have my kids.
That's a nice looking bunker. This is the first sort of visual tour I've had of your place.
Look at my giant TV.
That's
you
insane.
got it installed. And why is it so giant? I know the answer, but why is it so giant, Dennis?
I mean, there's different answers. It's an 85-inch television that I purchased largely because when I was making my television decision for my living room, I couldn't stay in the house, and the floors were being sanded and the walls were being painted for about 3 weeks. So I spent the better part of 6 weeks actually at my mother's house sleeping on a couch. And I made the mistake of going to Best Buy to look at TVs. And I told him the size of the wall. And the man convinced me that see, I've got a feature wall thing that I did. Mm-hmm. He convinced me that my 65-inch would be too small on that wall. Because if you walk over here to my kitchen, where I will be cooking, where I can still see it because it's an open concept.
This is the answer I was told.
It would be really small from here, from all the way across. So
when he's chopping when he's making his paste.
Yes. When I'm making my paste, I can still watch the TV. And if I can't show you because I don't have my cell phone is what I'm recording with. But if you extend your arm all the way out toward the television from here, it is roughly the size of a phone screen if your arm is fully extended. I'm an idiot, and I didn't realize the world was about to blow up.
Were you told that, or did you figure that out on your own?
I figured it out before. Once they put the wall up, I was like, oh, that's a giant wall, and I went and measured. I'm like, uh-oh. In hindsight, I could have just hung something else on the wall with the television.
No, it's good.
But
it's good to have it.
It's a good-looking TV.
Why not?
And I bought it on Christmas Eve for $1,000 off. So it wasn't actually that much more expensive than my other one was 3 years ago.
You don't have to explain your actions to us or to anybody. You don't have
every single person who's seen it in person has made fun of me.
I'd love to have a TV that size. And when I get my money right, I will have a TV that size.
Yeah. Well,
and I don't even have an open concept to blame it on. I'm just going to say, wanted a big-ass TV.
Well, if we're honest with
I'm going to get
ourselves,
it and then watch shows at a smaller screen size. I'm going to reduce it just to show people I don't even watch TV that way. I just like to have a big TV and watch it on a smaller screen.
Cullen, when you play PlayStation, what TV do you play it on?
I play it on the TV I have downstairs, which is a TV that's like, I don't know, 15 years old now. It's a 40-something, 50-inch TV. I don't know.
Yeah. Can you see it pretty well?
Yeah, because we sit right up on it.
So why were you doing so badly when we played the game the other night?
Hey, I didn't do terribly. I survived more matches than I died.
I think that was your son playing.
What game was this?
No, even the matches I played myself. So to give you background on this moment that Kyle's trying to make me feel small and in.
Really, I was just trying to segue.
Yes. We played the demo of Predator Hunting Grounds. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
So it was free the demo over the weekend. It was a free demo. So Kyle invited me along to play with a bunch of people. And it was a fun game. I mean, I thought it was a little complicated. There's so many buttons. I like one button, a joystick and a button.
What do you like the button to do?
Shoot or jump, depending on which way you push the joystick. That's what I like.
Is that because of Atari?
Yes. but I'm just not. I don't play video games very often. So
Too busy.
Well, yeah, but it was a fun game once I got the hang of it. But someone who played games like Fortnite or
Oh yeah,
Overwatch or something like that, they pick it up instantly.
yeah. Baldemar was on there, and he was destroying So the way the game works, it's like Predator. You're a commando. You go into some situation, and like a regular video game, but somebody's the predator who can stealthily start to kill you off. And Baldemar was killing dozens of the NPC guerrilla soldiers. Like at the end, it would be like the Predator killed 3 people, Kyle killed 2 people, Cullen killed 2 people, Baldemar killed 35 people.
Yeah, so
he was silent. He would just we didn't know. That's probably why we won every time, Cullen.
Yeah,
because Baldemar completed the mission.
That's what it sounds like, based on the numbers.
My son was there with me. He wanted to see the game, and he played maybe 2 or 3 of the games, and everybody could tell when he didn't talk. When he was playing, I was still on the headset, but everybody could tell when he was playing and when I was playing because he was much more efficient and deadly.
It's pretty cool when you're the Predator. I enjoy that.
The Predator's awesome.
So does it work like when you become Darth Vader in Battlefront, kind of?
So it's like it's like the Friday the 13th game. So 4 people are the commandos and 1 person is the Predator.
Okay.
and they start far away.
And you have to hunt them down if you're the Predator.
But you have all the vision and all the audio stuff. It's pretty neat.
So you're a badass if you're the Predator.
Oh yeah, you're way overpowered.
You have all sorts of weapons and net guns and flying discs that cut people in half, and
so just like a real Predator.
Yeah,
like
and
in real life.
I mean, it puts you right in the world of Predator. The music's awesome. I mean, it sounds like it's got the soundtrack from the movies, and the Predator sound effects are amazing. I mean, whenever he's near and you can hear him sort of clicking and doing his creepy Predator sounds, it gets kind of nerve-wracking. And
some of the voiceover work is like one of the guys sounds like Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
And one of the guys sounds like who's the dude who played Kyle Reese in Aliens? He was in Aliens and Terminator. What's that guy's name?
Michael Bain.
One of the guys sounds like Michael Bain.
Yeah.
Does Cullen sound like Michael Bain?
No. I just started this morning, I watched Predator 2, but because I misunderstood what time this podcast was beginning to record, I didn't finish it. But have you guys seen Predator 2 recently?
Oh yeah, Lions and Tigers and Bears. So
I saw it in the theater when it came out, and I've watched it relatively within the last couple of years. I watched it again.
Well, as a kid, I thought it was okay. I remember renting it, but it was totally over my head that they just did the same thing again, but instead of an 80s commando movie, it was an 80s police movie.
Right.
And it just feels like it's like they took RoboCop 2 and took out the robot, put in Lethal Weapon.
I really enjoyed it. I like Predator 2 quite a bit, actually.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens yet.
Well, let me tell you.
It's Danny Glover, right?
Yeah, he's really charismatic. He's
the hell you say.
It's a good thing too, because I know there are a couple of good scenes. Bill Paxton is very annoying, but they did 2 scenes that made you really like him, where he's really good at his job. I thought that was interesting, because before that, you just think he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, no, I love that movie almost as much as I love the first Predator, actually. And it might just be because of when I saw it. And
when did you see the first Predator, Cullen?
We talked about this already.
Did we? Damn.
I think so.
You know what I learned? No, when we talked about it, we were playing Predator Hunting Grounds.
Oh, we were.
Yeah, you didn't talk about it on here.
Yeah, so when I first saw Predator, I was in Texas. I was with my dad. We were doing door-to-door sales.
Where in Texas?
I can't remember. It was a little town. I mean, it was a little town. Probably not too far from Brownsville, Texas, I think, at the time. But I don't know.
The town's no longer near Brownsville?
Is it not?
I don't know. I'm asking. Did it move?
What happened to your audio, Dennis? It got wacky.
Is it weird now?
Uh-huh.
A little bit. Are you standing in a
No,
oubliette?
You sound like Darth Vader.
Is that any better?
No.
All right, hold on a sec.
Anyway,
Okay.
Has it improved?
yes.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It was just my microphone.
Yeah.
It's not
My
perfect.
dad wanted to watch a movie one night, and I don't know how I had
Is that
managed.
better? Can you hear
Yes.
me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
I don't know how I had managed to miss any previews for the movie Predator, but we went into that movie knowing nothing about it. We thought from the movie poster that it was a sequel to Commando. It was just another Arnold action movie. And we sat down in a packed theater, and when the spaceship comes up on the opening scenes and shoots the little pod down, my dad looked over at me and said, "What the hell kind of movie is this?"
And what noise did you make?
I did this. But yeah, I think that's the best way to watch Predator. And actually, I'm actually disappointed that there was a spaceship in the opening scene. It would have been a much
It
better
would have been
movie
much
for
better
me
if there weren't.
if you didn't know there was a monster until it shoots Jesse Ventura. And then you're like, oh shit.
I bet that's how it was originally.
It should have been. And some damn test audience didn't like it.
Well, and the second one is interesting because they try to give you the same mystery, but everybody knows what they're looking at.
Well,
Yeah.
unless they watched it on HBO and didn't see the part where it said what was coming up next. That used to happen to me. It happened to me with Batman once. I'm like, I know I've seen this, but the beginning of Batman, the Tim Burton one, at least maybe it wasn't the beginning, but whatever scene I turned it on as a child, it's sort of like what seems like a boring movie as a kid. It's like reporters talking and some shit. And so when it was Batman, I was really, really excited. I sat through some boring shit just to see what it was, and it turned out to be Batman.
Has there been a movie, guys, recently, whatever, it doesn't matter, recent or not, that gave you that oh shit moment, like early on, like you're watching it and you just go, oh shit, and then you're hooked in that movie no matter what happens the rest of the film because it's so awesome?
Well, I try to go to movies now without knowing anything about them.
That's the best way.
When I went to see Snatch, I had no idea anything about it at all. I went with some friends.
Thought it was a
I
porno.
went with Evie. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know what this is. And so I was very pleasantly surprised by that. I went to see Crimson Peak without knowing anything about it except that it was a Guillermo del Toro thing. Have you guys seen that?
I have.
No.
I
wanted to, but
well, that one was terrible. It was like 40 minutes before anything happened, but I wasn't interested. So I was just like, get to the Crimson Peak. Come on. It's terrible. But I don't know. Dennis, do you have any?
Recent ones? I mean, it's happened a lot in the past. I remember as a child, it happened with Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, because I hated Ace Ventura. I didn't see it in the theater. Everybody talked about it. Everybody did that fucking the voice and the butt talking, and I hated the first one. And we went in middle school, and the only reason I agreed to go is because a girl I had a crush on was going to be there with my friend's girlfriend. And I was like so furious that that's what we had to watch. And for whatever reason, the sequel, When Nature Calls, struck me as the funniest thing ever
The
happened.
sequel's terrible.
I was like 12.
I like it when he comes out of the rhino, when he climbs out of the rhino's ass. I like that part.
That's what everybody likes that.
Mhm.
And it opens on a
Cliffhanger.
what was the cliffhanger parody, which I was a big fan of Sylvester Stallone's. I liked that a lot. For whatever reason, I don't think it holds up. It really
No.
how funny it was at the time. Stuff that everybody tells me is great already. So if I'm struck, it's that it's disappointingly bad.
Well, I just watched on Shudder, which I think has free, like you can do a free month or free couple of months right now on
It does,
Shudder.
I just downloaded it. Yeah.
Watch the movie Terrified, because that's a movie that I will not say anything about it, but it had a great opening scene.
All right. Well, I can't find a pinned. Okay.
I was in fact terrified when I watched it.
I feel like there was a movie recently that I didn't know anything about that I loved, but I don't know what it was. So it's a non-starter.
I have seen so little. I saw Knives Out and found it to be amusing, but didn't love it as much as everybody else.
On that big ass TV, you ain't been watching movies?
I've been watching Ozark. I just finished the 3rd season of Ozark, and I watched most of Tiger King. Which that's something else. Have we discussed that yet?
We have not talked about Tiger King.
Have you seen Tiger King? Have you both seen Tiger
I'm
King?
not gonna watch it. I don't want to watch that garbage.
I have watched Tiger King.
It's a powerful movie.
It's a movie? I thought it was a
It's
a series.
Yeah, it's a 7-episode TV series. That the plot twists in it are akin to Making a Murderer, where it just gets
that's
wilder
pretty much what
and wilder.
Yeah, it's like Making of a Murderer for the Jerry Springer crowd. It's
yeah, you're right.
It's really it's funny because Cindy and I watched Love is Blind, the dating show that's on Netflix.
We talked about this on the last episode.
Oh, did we? Okay. So Tiger King's much crazier than Love is Blind. Everybody told us how crazy Love is Blind is. And I guess it just didn't reach my crazy meter. Tiger King did reach my crazy meter.
Tiger King sort of seemed like your people. Like if you told me that you retired to own a bunch of big cats and show them to the public, I'd be like, oh, all right.
I will say that there are people on Tiger King that remind me of family members for sure.
Same, exact same.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of watching all these people who are like really cruel to animals be glorified. So that's why
they're not glorified.
They are absolute. It is not a show of glory. It is a show of how awful everyone
drags them through the mud.
I don't know. I feel like we understand that, but what's the guy's name? That everybody.
Joe Exotic.
Yeah, that guy's like an internet celebrity, and I'm sure he loves it.
Well, he's in prison.
Well, he has coronavirus now, so.
What?
In prison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it did make him a celebrity, but he's already fallen.
Yeah, but he's stupid enough to love that.
Well, that's the whole thing about him, is he's one of those people who it doesn't matter if it's bad news, it's a bad portrayal or a good portrayal. For him, it's just fame. And so you're right. He probably does love it.
Well, sure. But what else does he have? Because he's in prison.
I don't care. I'm just not going to watch this show.
I mean, that's fine. You don't have to watch it.
Watch some other shows.
I've got plenty to watch.
I was just talking to Anton, our producer, about Dracula on Netflix, which I just started. It's pretty good.
I saw Bram Stoker's Dracula in theaters a few months ago.
Oh, that
was awesome.
Yeah.
They don't make them like that anymore.
No, that movie is that movie shouldn't have been made. I mean, I love the movie, but there's so many things about it that I can't imagine why anyone made that movie that way. It's bizarre in the best ways possible.
Well, I feel like it's responsible for so much of the way we visually interpret like vampires now.
Yeah.
Like that movie made so much money that immediately after that they made Interview with the Vampire into a film. And they made it all blousy and just like Dracula was. And that
obviously you don't understand that vampires are inherently romantic.
But my point is that's how vampires were for a decade. And then they started making all of those underworld movies, right? Where the vampires with the werewolves and all the tight leather and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they made another Anne Rice movie, and it looked like that. It was
Queen of the Damned, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this new Dracula series on Netflix, it's very they really play with the story of Dracula, and they turn a lot of the tropes on their ear. I really like the guy who plays Dracula though, because he's very is it
Leslie Nielsen?
No. But he's super charming. It's like if Gary Oldman had been the old man and then turned into young Dracula. But when he turned into young Dracula, he's kind of fun and charming. And he would like to hang out with him. That's the way he is.
Right.
Also, he kind of looks like Christopher Lee in like the old Hammer Dracula movies. There's a scene where he hisses and he's got blood coming out of his mouth and his eyes are red. And it could have been lifted from an old Hammer movie. And I really like that.
I really liked that billboard they made. That was cool.
I don't know anything about a billboard.
So there was a billboard for that Dracula show that had a bunch of stakes stabbed into it.
Yeah.
And it said Dracula on the right. But when the sun went down at night, a light would appear on the left side of the billboard, and the shadow it cast across the stakes made the silhouette of Dracula's face.
Oh, that's kind of awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah. That's
I'm sure you
that's
can
smart.
find that on the internet.
Almost certainly. Have you guys seen Ozark? Have you watched Ozark?
No, but
No.
I like Breaking Bad and I like Arrested Development.
It has things in common with both of those.
I like Teen
like
Wolf
it.
too.
I like it because it's a crime show, but it's really quiet. Like the main character is very calm and quiet most of the time. And so it takes a long time to build, and you're just watching him like tamp down all of his emotions. That's the first season. By the third season, it's all wacky. But my favorite thing that happened in the third season is Jason Bateman as Marty Bird says the words Lee Summit, which is the town I grew up in, when referring to some shit that happened in Missouri elsewhere.
That's funny.
Really funny.
Oh wait, Jason Bateman wasn't in Teen Wolf 2. It was the other guy, right?
No, he was in Teen Wolf too. Michael J. Fox is in Teen Wolf. Jason
But
Bateman.
who's the guy that looks like Jason Bateman that was in Scream 2 or 3 and sang "I Think I Love You" on the lunchroom table?
I know the guy sang. I know there was a guy that sang that.
He played
Steve
Frankenstein.
Ulrich? No, that's season Scream. The first Scream.
He played Frankenstein when they tried to reboot the Monsters.
That
a
was
few
Jason
years ago.
Bateman.
No.
Jason Bateman didn't play the Frankenstein in the Monsters reboot.
Comments. When you see this in the comments, comment below with who you know who I'm talking about.
I'm
could have swore it was
confident Jason Bateman was in Teen Wolf 2.
It's the other guy. It's the guy that looks like him.
In Teen Wolf 2?
All right.
That show was called 1313 Mockingbird Lane, right?
Yeah, but don't look it up. We'll let our listeners answer this question.
All right.
Because it's better for
Everything
them
I
to be
can do
annoyed
not
that we don't
look it
know.
up right now.
Yeah, because if I were listening to this podcast, I would be pissed off because I would know the answer.
No, that's fair.
Well, I'm
That's
voting Jason Bateman.
It's not. It's the other guy from Scream
I don't think
2.
Jason Bateman was in the Monsters thing, but I do think he was in Teen
Oh,
Wolf.
hey, someone just texted me a message.
The other guy was in the.
Oh, yeah,
Monsters
you're right.
thing.
It was the guy who looks like Jason Bateman.
All right.
What's his name?
Jerry O'Connell.
Well, I was.
Jerry O'Connell doesn't look like Jason Bateman. Jerry
No, they-
O'Connell's the fat kid from Stand By Me.
I
Hey,
thought that the fat
Cullen-
kid from Stand By Me grew up to be Jerry O'Connell, or grew up to be
He did. He
Jason
grew up to be
Bateman.
Jerry O'Connell. Nope.
People confuse him all the time. And Cullen
weird.
did because he thought that Jason Bateman was in.
I did,
Mockingbird Lane.
and as soon as Anton sent me the message, I knew that we were.
Anton just robbed our viewers.
Well,
of the
Jerry
glory.
He
O'Connell
can edit
definitely
that out.
wasn't
He
in
can
Teen
put a
Wolf
radio
2.
edit. Oh, it's
Jerry
All right.
O'Connell definitely wasn't in Teen Wolf 2.
Yeah, he was.
No, he wasn't. That was Jason Bateman. Anton can tell us. I bet you.
I won't tell people if it was. I'm sorry I ruined that for our viewers.
Anton,
No.
who was in Teen Wolf 2?
It's Jason Bateman.
You looked it up.
No, I didn't look it up. I'm waiting for Anton to confirm my righteousness. This is great radio, by the way.
It's great.
Oh, hold on. Anton sent me a message. Dennis's TV is an affront against nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
No, he didn't say that. That was me. And I like your TV. I was just being a jerk.
It's fine.
It's good.
I bought
to
it for. I
Oh.
bought it largely for entertaining, and now I can't do that. What? Wait a second.
It is Jason Bateman in Teen Wolf 2.
All right. Good
So
to
we were
know.
both right about one.
Mm-hmm. And
Except Cullen was right about nothing.
Mhm.
No, I was right.
That's part
And I
of
don't
course.
care.
Cullen, I was
I don't
rummaging
care about what.
about facts about the truth.
Yeah, I don't care about where Jason Bateman or Jerry O'Connell. I think they're both fine actors, but I can watch them interchangeably.
Jerry
Cullen, I
O'Connell
was-
was in Sliders.
He was.
That wasn't Jason
Nope.
Bateman?
Nobody's arguing there. I was rummaging through some things, Cullen, and I found this. Do you remember this?
I do.
I remember that.
Was it from LibraryCon? Is that where we got these?
No, it was from Hong Kong.
It wasn't from Hong Kong.
What's it
Oh,
called?
I
It
have
is.
those in
That's
my
what
house.
Jeremy did.
HurleyCon.
Hurley.
It
No,
wasn't HurleyCon.
no, it wasn't. It was from Cullen's Con. What was it called?
CaveCon.
Cave Con. That's what it was called.
CaveCon? They're not from
Yeah.
LibraryCon?
It might have been LibraryCon. I used to have a bunch of those in my house. How come that
Dennis
was
has
only
never-
partially drank?
Because I only drink when
It's
I
a
talk
shot.
to you.
I poured mine into a drink at CaveCon.
Have you ever been to the
That vodka's
library
been filtered
con?
through a meteorite. A meteorite.
Have you ever been to the library con in Springfield?
Not in Springfield. I've been to that. We went and watched those kids do the costume contest with Andy and Jason that time.
I remember that.
Library con's a cool event.
It is good. That was a good story about those kids with their costume contests.
Yes, they did dances. They performed for us. Really, the performances were far more impressive than the costume.
They were. I did some really bad sketches at that con, but I didn't sign them. And Andy was like, "Why didn't you sign those sketches?" And I was like, "Because they're terrible." And so from that point, anytime I did one, he's like, "Why don't you sign that for him, Kyle?"
To make you?
Yeah, I should have signed it, Andy.
You should.
Marks. What about you, Cullen? You have any good convention stories?
I have lots of great convention stories,
You do?
but I feel like all of them make me seem like a dick.
Well, you know what that means.
What? I was a dick.
You're a dick.
Yeah.
What's one that doesn't make you seem like a dick?
None of them. I don't know that. I think conventions are fun because you meet so many cool people. You meet a lot of fans, but you also meet some real characters, not just people who are dressed as characters, but genuine characters. Like, did I tell you guys about I think it was Emerald City a few years back when I was doing some Green Lantern work, and this guy came up to me and he was dressed as all of the different lanterns. He had something. Yeah, he had something from all the lanterns on his clothing. So as he was walking up, I was like, "Oh, here, this guy's really gonna want to talk."
Did he have all the rings?
Yes, all the rings. But then he had like a long jacket that had patches of green and sapphire and all the different colors.
Like a Dolly Parton situation.
Sorta. But as he was coming up, I knew that he was really gonna, he wanted to talk about Green Lantern. But what I didn't expect was he asked every question, and he had a lot, to the tune of, "Do you want to build a snowman?"
What song is that? How's that go?
It's from Frozen, but it would be like,
Frozen.
"Will John Stewart appear in your version of Green Lantern?" And every question was that. Until I told him some character, and he just started saying, "I'm so excited," and he started spinning around singing, "I'm so excited."
Oh no, I remember this, but you told me he started saying everything is awesome.
Oh yeah, you're right. He did. He started going, "Everything is awesome" too. Yeah, he was. So it was Frozen and "Everything is Awesome" from the Lego Movie, and "I'm so excited." Everything was to song for this guy, which was weird. But I also think, wouldn't it be nice to live in a world where everything is set to music for you?
No, it would be terrible.
He was very excited.
He was super excited. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm making fun of him. It was just a very strange interaction. I wasn't expecting it.
I'll tell a story where I will make fun of the guy who came up to my table. I was I don't know what convention it was. Maybe it was Heroes. I think it was Heroes Con. But I was at my table. There was one guy at my table looking at stuff, and another guy came up, and he started looking at my work, and he said, "I'm as good as you. Why can't I get work?" And that's not a good way to start the conversation. No. But I didn't have to engage him, because what I did not know is the guy who was at my table was an art director at NetherRealm, and he did not appreciate that question. And so he just started, he was like, "Why would you ask a question like that? That's the complete wrong attitude. I'll tell you why you're not getting work. It's because of your attitude." So that was really interesting.
One time at a comic convention here in town, Kyle and I were sitting next to each other, and Kyle had gotten up from his table to do something, get food or something or other. And this kid comes up who's, I don't know, 13, 14 years old, and he's looking at Kyle's stuff. And at the time, Kyle had a bunch of like horror prints for sale, and the guy was going through them, and the kid was really into it. And he's just like, where does he come up with this stuff? And I maybe had a little bit of whiskey at 11 o'clock in the morning and told him that Kyle is, what did I say? How did I put it? That Kyle was not a very smart man.
No, that's not what you said.
He wasn't very intelligent.
That's not what you said. You're embellishing.
I think Kyle knows what you said better.
I
What'd
know
you say?
I know what you said, and it was offensive, and now you're trying to come up with different words.
Exactly.
What did you say, Kyle? What did he say, Kyle?
It's not my story.
Damn it.
Anyway, I implied that Kyle was mentally handicapped. I don't think I used an offensive word, but I implied Kyle was mentally handicapped and that he's haunted by horrible nightmares. And the only way he can get through the day is to put them down on the paper, but that he doesn't communicate very well. And I was just fucking with the kid, and the kid was like, "Oh, really?" And then went away. And then Kyle came back, and the kid came up to buy the print, and Kyle was struggling to make change. And the kid was so nice to him.
For some reason, I couldn't figure out.
Because he thought he was slow. Yeah, I guess that's not a story for public consumption.
Well, it is. It is now.
It's a long time ago. It was very funny. But
Well, years ago at a little convention in St. Louis, well, not little, it was a big convention, but it was not a comic convention. It was primarily a science fiction and role-playing game convention. But I used to go and set up there all the time. And my buddy Mike Oliveri, who's a very talented writer, was sitting up at the table with me. And at the time, I didn't even have a comic out. Nothing of mine had been published, but I was selling copies of the zine I published and stuff like that. And Mike had his first issue of his Werewolf comic, Call of the Wild. I think it was Call of the Wild, maybe, or The Pack. I can't remember. They changed the name a little bit from it. But anyway, he had the first issue of his Werewolf comic there. And we were sitting, before the convention started, there's a Mexican restaurant right outside. So we went and had a couple of giant margaritas the size of our heads. And then we came and set up for the convention. And we're right next to this guy who had a table full of T-shirts. And Mike was going to go smoke a cigar. And he had his cigar lighter out, and he put it on the table because this guy interrupted him and said, "Hey, you write Werewolf comics?" The guy at the table, the T-shirt table. "You write Werewolf comics, huh?" And Mike said, "Yeah, I do this book." And the guy said, "I do Werewolf comics too. Let me show you." And he reaches down under the T-shirt table and he pulls out this, like hand stapled zine comic. "Here you go, bud. Take a look at that. We're like the same." And Mike started flipping through it, and it is werewolf porn. I mean, really graphic, really disgusting werewolf porn. And I'm sitting there watching Mike through my margarita haze, and I could just see him sort of deflating because he's looking at this comic, he's flipping through it, and he just says, I don't know what, he looks at me and says, "This guy thinks we're the same." He's like, "I worked my ass off on this comic. I struggled to get it published. I struggled to get a publisher to get, to pick it up. It took forever to happen because it was just slow to produce. And he thinks that my book is no different than this werewolf porn." And I could just see, and you've all felt that kind of defeat, right?
Well, you know what you do in that situation.
I can tell you what I did.
Oh, please do.
I took the comic out of Mike's hand, grabbed the lighter off the table, set the comic on fire, and threw it onto the guy's T-shirts.
What? While the guy was watching?
Yeah. Well, he had turned slightly.
That does make you sound like a real asshole.
He was turned. He was looking in this direction. And Mike quickly knocked it off the T-shirts and started stomping it out and slid the ashes with his foot under our table.
That's crazy.
Was he mad?
And I told you it would make me sound bad, but it was a terrible werewolf porn comic.
Well, what I would have done is I would have said, who would really like this comic? Would really appreciate it.
Do.
It's Chris Grine. And then you tell him exactly where Chris Grine is. And Chris doesn't know what to do. So
now that's my favorite thing to do at conventions. And I learned it from you and Chris Grine is I send them to other people.
Yeah. The best is when I'm like, "Oh man, I don't know what to do with this." And I'm like, who'd like this? Is Chris Grine. And they say, "Oh, he just sent me to you."
Yeah.
Yeah. Kyle and I went to this. I'm sure I've told this short story on here before, but Kyle and I went to show in the middle of Missouri one time that ended up having more creators at it than it had fans, and got very, very drunk. And
I
that
think this story. I think he's gonna tell some lies.
what? Some lies? No, I was just that the people that did show up at that show were very send-aroundable. And that was the first time I ever sent somebody to Chris Grind. There's a video from that show of me talking to a man for way too long about what comics he'd bought. And Kyle started videotaping it because of my inability to keep a poker face as I was talking to him. And then in Kyle's video, you can see Chris Grind walk around the back with his phone out, videotaping it from a different
It's
angle.
really fun to watch Dennis suffer. So
Why?
I at Planet one years ago, I was sitting with Matt Kent, and Matt had decided to do free sketches. And this was when Matt was doing Super Spy. That's when his book Super Spy was out. And this guy walked up and he said, "Hey, you're doing free sketches?" And Matt said, "Yeah, I'm doing a quick free sketch, one of my characters if I can." And the guy says, "Can you draw Spider-Man for me?" And Matt said, "Well, I'm really only doing the kind of books I do and my characters." And the guy said, "Well, what do you do?" And Matt said, "Well, I work on books. I like to write stories about spies and things like that." And he goes, "You like to write about you like to do stories about spies?" And Matt says, "Yeah." He says, "Could you draw me a Spider-Man?"
That's good.
And Matt drew him a Spider-Man because Matt's a nice person.
I'll be right back.
Well, that's a funny thing.
Being
Look
nice.
at that. Look at you see that Malbolgia behind Kyle there?
I do see the Malbolgia. He's
Have you
always
told
blocking
Malbolgia, Daddy?
He's always blocking Malbolgia, but I saw him that time.
Have you talked about Malbolgia and Malbolgia Daddy?
That's what I asked.
Oh.
No, we have not talked about Malbolgia Daddy.
You want to talk about it on Missouri?
It's a quick story.
Have you talked about it on the bungalow?
No, we've never talked about it.
That's a more accurate place for it.
Kyle used to, I don't even know how it started, but he used to buy at every convention we were at together, no matter if it was we'd seen each other within a few weeks or a year or whatever, he would always find a cheap Malbolgia action figure.
Which is a thing of the past, I think.
They don't make cheap Malbolgias anymore?
No, I don't think so.
Well, he would always find them and bring them to me and say, "Give this to your kid." So Cindy started asking why I was bringing these toys home for Squish. He was little too, and he was getting these hideous monster toys. And she's like, "What is this about?" I said, "Well, that's Kyle. He sends Squish Malbolgias from every convention. He's his Malbolgia daddy."
Cindy didn't like that at all.
Cindy does not like Malbolgia daddy. She is not a fan. And my garage, because my kid doesn't like toys at all now. He's like, he wants them out of his room. He doesn't want them anywhere around. My garage is full of Malbolgias.
I'll have to figure out another Malbolgia item. Does he like bongs?
Bongs? My kid's 11.
Another game we like to play at cons with Cullen is when Cullen's going to be on a panel and we're not.
Oh, it's a good game.
Give Cullen ridiculous phrases that he has to work into his answers and to his stories on stage.
It's good at it.
Kyle, do you remember some of these phrases?
Some of my favorites are "with my tail between your legs."
Yeah.
With a Charlie Bucket sort of arrogance.
That's my favorite one, hands down.
I'm sure that I have them in my text.
Yeah, so before I go on a panel, and it's usually less than 10 minutes before I go to my panel, Kyle will hand me a slip of paper with 10 phrases, 5 to 10 phrases on it that he wants me to say in the during the panel. I have to work them into conversation. And the first time I did it, I was like, "But yeah, Kyle, I'll do it." And I walked in, and then as the panel started, here comes Kyle strolling on in. And he sits right in the front so he can get a good look at me as I do it. So I had to. I mean, I think I have a pretty good percentage of working those into conversation.
No, you do.
You're great at it.
There are a couple you've chosen not to do.
There were a couple that were pretty bad.
But not because you couldn't, but because you chose not to.
There were a couple I had to choose not to.
You're the best at it. Chris Ryan is the worst at it. Like he can't.
Oh, didn't we do it? We did it at a con.
That's when we created it. Yeah, we created it at that con.
You did it with Chris Grind?
But yeah, we came up with the idea at a con we were driving to with a couple people, it was me and somebody else, and Chris Grind and Kyle, and we all had a phrase we were supposed to say, and everybody got it out except for Chris, and Chris couldn't stop laughing and like basically answered no questions the rest of the time because he couldn't get it out and he couldn't make himself stop laughing.
I'm pretty sure the people in the audience they don't realize that I'm doing these things as a game.
No, they don't.
Charlie Bucket's kind of arrogance got no reaction from the audience at all.
No, we laughed. Kyle and I laughed heartily at it.
I wish I could remember some of the others.
Yeah, the list. I should have kept the lists.
I'm gonna look at my Gmail and see if there are any in here
because it's a fun game. I don't want to keep playing it. Now that we've revealed it, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can.
People know I'm doing it.
Kyle's really good at coming up with ridiculous phrases. Like if I need magic words or some asshole in the background of a comic book script just rattle off a bunch of nonsense, I'll oftentimes call Kyle and get his help with it because he's really good at like writing silly poems and rhyming stuff.
I'm happy to help. Your Melville daddy is happy to help.
One time there was a writers collective that was being created with some people and I was supposed to be a part of it. And the names that were being thrown out for it, I found to be ridiculous. And so Kyle and I'll spend an evening drinking beer and coming up with more ridiculous, offensive names for said writers collective. And when I presented them to the group, I was asked to no longer be a part of the writers collective.
Yeah.
But
that's awesome. What did your writers, was it a in-person thing or an online thing?
It was an in-person thing. They were doing a anthology.
Oh.
It's done, but the anthology they came up with actually ended up being really cool, and the name they came up with was cool. But at the time, I found the names to be like really masculine and macho and silly, and so that was the point I was trying to make. But it's possible I overplayed because my names were rejected, and so was I.
I don't have the email. I'll look later. It's possible I have those somewhere. The coolest thing that's happened to me at a con, the reason I got up for a minute to go over there, is this guy named Tony I've seen him at several cons just all across the country, but he doesn't travel for cons. I know that Cullen doesn't like this story because he's jealous.
I am jealous. I do like the story, but I am jealous of you.
So Tony would show up and he'd be like, oh, I heard there was a con, so I came here, because he works for the Army Corps of Engineers and is always all over the country. And I didn't know that he worked for the Army Corps of Engineers. But several years in, I don't know, I've known him for 6 or 7 years. He said, Kyle, I got something for you. I think I'd given him a book or something the day before. And he's like, I got something for you. And he gave me this coin. What I did not know was that Tony was a 2-star general. And he said, here, this is for you. It's a challenge coin. It's for civilians. It's like a medal to point out that you're doing a good job. So this is my favorite thing I've ever gotten at a convention.
It's pretty awesome. I've never seen you more proud.
I know. Here I am. I could be showing you all kinds of stuff.
Somebody gave me a challenge coin once. I have one. It's not that. It's a different one. But are they based on the rank of the person? I didn't realize they were all different.
Well, this one has 2 stars because he was a 2-star general. Oh. And what he told me was, if I'm ever in a bar and there are any military people, I can show this and they'll have to pay for my drinks. But if they have a challenge coin with a higher star, then I have to pay for the drinks.
Well, then yours is pretty good because mine doesn't have any stars on it.
I don't think I would ever be like, you guys are paying for my drinks. Here's my challenge coin.
What we've determined is I'm the only one on this recording that doesn't have a challenge coin.
Sorry, buddy.
It's all right.
Military fans are awesome. Like every person fan of mine that has come up and let me know that they're in the service, they're always great. They're always fun to talk to. And I have a guy I think he was overseas, and he asked me to sign a book and send it to his wife for Christmas because he was stuck overseas over the holidays. I believe that's the story, something like that. And I did it, didn't think anything of it. And a couple years later, he showed up at Planet Comic Con and gave me this awesome like silver military mug thing with a thank you note in it.
Cool.
Yeah. So yes, comic book fans who are also in the military tend to be badass.
That's true. They are.
At least if they're
Fans
fans
in
of me.
general. Thank you, fans.
No,
for
some of them
supporting
suck.
us.
Let's be honest.
No, I'm
No.
not going to say that. You're out of your mind.
You're going to be asked to leave the collective.
But none of my fans suck.
Oh, I see. You're just saying that fans in general.
Yeah, like there's probably some Kid Rock fans that I don't care for.
Look, I love my fans. Thank you all for your
They're
support.
not Kid Rock.
But they're not. Well, they might. What if they're a fan of mine that
No.
also likes Kid Rock?
I said some Kid Rock fans. There's a
They're
Venn
outside.
diagram
They're
there.
outside that part of the
Yeah.
Venn
Venn
diagram.
I'm sorry, I was paging through texts from Kyle to see if I could find any of those messages, and Kyle has over the years sent me some really bizarre text messages.
Like
Yes,
what?
It's his favorite thing to do.
I can't. Most of these cannot be shared.
No. There's one I love. My favorite one is of you holding up the book, the horror anthology that I did the cover for. What was it called?
A Passage in Black.
You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, A Passage in Black.
Yep.
What is this? What is this thing?
I don't know what that is.
Just making sure your phone number wasn't readily available. You sent me a picture of a monster.
Here's a picture. I'm going through now. Here's some beanie weenies you sent me.
Yep. I'm out of beanie weenies right now, so it'll make me sad.
Yeah, I'm almost out of everything. I don't I don't feel like going to the grocery store in the middle of this, but at the same time, it's getting pretty dire over there.
It's an ordeal. The entire time that we've been on here, Evie's been wiping down the groceries.
Here's my favorite security check that Kyle shared with me.
Like on buses.
It says, select every square that has a bus in it. And it's just a giant close-up of a bus. Anyway.
Kyle used to send me pictures of random people from the internet, and it turned out as a game. He asked me to pick which one was how many Brooke Turners there were, because we know a guy named Brooke Turner, and one of them was Brooke Turner, and then a couple of the other ones were other Brooke Turners in the world that were just an image. It's the sort of thing Kyle will send you. It's very
Or
funny.
Cullen Bunn.
Anybody.
Well,
You did.
I don't know
You did
Brooke
multiple
Turner.
people. Brooke's the one I still have when I see it. Whenever I look at all of the media you've sent me, that's how I know Brooke. But I'll do it with anybody. I don't know if you've ever done Cullen Bunn, because there's only one Cullen Bunn.
There better be.
Oh, you know what? Once I was at New York Comic Con, and across from me, set up at a table, this guy, I saw him all weekend, and he looked really familiar to me, and I couldn't place it. But I did. I finally did.
I hate this story.
And the reason he looked familiar is because he looked like Cullen Bunn, but if he'd been merged together with B. Claymore. And so I found a photo of him online, and now I have the photo, and
I get it every now and again.
I like
You
to
send it
call
me.
him Bunn Claymore.
Yeah, I'm not I don't. Do you even know that guy's name? His real name?
I must have, because I found him. I don't want to say it.
Right.
Well, I have to
I
admit,
mean, I don't know
he
it,
does
but-
look like a weird fusion of B. Claymore and me. But I don't have to like it, and I don't
Wasn't
like
there a photo of a man with a skullet that had your name associated with it on something once?
Oh, yeah, that's B. Claymore's fault. I'm pretty sure. There's a picture of this dude who kind of looks vaguely like me, but he has a skullet, which is a mullet, but he's completely bald on top. And B. Claymore sent that to some convention somewhere as my creator photo.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that picture has haunted me. I'm sure I have it somewhere, because even Axel Alonso, when he was at Marvel, he sent me a message one day saying, "Is this you?" And posted a picture that he sent me that picture. So it blew up from whatever Clay did. It blew up into, there were actually people who thought it was me. It is not me, this picture, this skullet dude.
Yeah, it's weird. There's a picture of if you Google me, or maybe just when I Google me, I don't know, a picture of Felipe Sobrero who colored Spread comes up. And I think it's because he has taken the time to put together an Amazon author profile with his photo. And my name's associated with that book, but that's the picture that comes up. So that's weird. There's another guy, the other Kyle Strahm, who plays the piano, who I mentioned once before, who always beats me to, well, he doesn't always. I'm pretty good at it now, but a couple of times he beat me to the username Kyle Strahm. But I'm going to send that photo to Anton and have him edit that in because it's a good photo.
Have we talked about my Wikipedia photo before on here?
No.
So you can't edit your own Wikipedia. Like there are rules. The only like.
How do they know it's you?
I don't know. You're not, but it's against it. Like if you ask them to change it, they'll say that's not how this works. You can't edit your own thing, and which is a problem. But you have to be like an authorized Wikipedia something or other. I'm sure other people know better how this works.
Weird.
But
you used to be able to do it, I thought, because I've edited Wikipedia a couple of times.
You can edit Wikipedia, but there are different levels of it, and it can be edited back, or people can make a complaint, which is where the story is going. So my Wikipedia, which I didn't create, have nothing to do with, has a photo of me that is A, very unflattering, and B, very old, so it looks absolutely nothing like me anymore. But when you Google me, that's the photo that comes up, is this extremely unflattering photo from a con from several years ago.
What's your hair look like in that photo?
It's a pumpkin pie haircut. I'm about 40 pounds heavier, and I'm wearing the least flattering shirt that has ever existed. So it looks nothing like me.
I just looked it up. It does look like you, but not. It's definitely not a current Dennis Hopeless.
Right. And so this is a thing that bothered me. It was a thing that got brought up whenever I created the relationship between Porcupine and Jessica in Spider-Woman. Roger sort of looks like a muscled up version of that. Like he's got a similar look to that photograph, which is just what the character looks like. It had nothing to do with it. But people kept posting that and saying it was a self-insert and that I wanted to be Jessica Drew's boyfriend, except for that I had unrealistic body image. So I got mocked with that photo all the time, which is kind of funny. Anyway, I asked someone who knew how to change the Wikipedia photo to switch it to my headshot, like to change that out to my headshot a few years ago. And for a brief period of time, it wasn't up. And apparently the person that put it up or the person that took the photo or someone filed a complaint and had it put back. So it was only down for like 6 months and got put up. So I can't get rid of it.
It's because you let them know it bothers you. Now they'll never let it go.
Have you read through it? Did the person write something mean about you in your Wikipedia page?
No, I feel like it shows you the updates. Like it just says what happened in code form or something. And I could mess with it again, but I tried once. I tried to skirt the system once. It failed to screw it. And it is me. It's just a really unflattering photo.
Oh, hey, Kyle just sent me a picture of Bunn Cullen Moore.
I sent it to Anton, really, so he can put it
Great.
in.
Thanks.
It's good work.
And if you're watching this and you are Bunn Cullen Moore, reach out to us.
Tell us your real name.
We'd like to add you.
Tell us about your book, because you had a book because you were at New York Comic Con. Maybe you won't like that you've been co-opted.
He's smiling in this picture, though, and I don't know that Clay.
That's you. That's the you of it.
I'm not a smiler.
Smiling right now. You're trying not to.
Yeah.
Clay smiles when he's really proud of something he's just said. I mean, we all do, but that's how you get Clay to smile.
We all smile when Clay is really proud of something.
No, we all smile when we're proud of ourselves. I think it's human nature. That's why I smile so much, because I'm so proud being me.
You should be, Dennis.
Thank you.
And on that note, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, we're done. We're done?
Yeah, we're done for the day.
How long have we been going?
I don't know, an hour?
Really?
Long enough.
It feels like an hour.
But what are you guys doing? Instead of, they all know where they can find us. It's the same every time.
Well, I'm still going to plug my Patreon.
You can. No, well, you should, because you got a new thing.
I got a new thing every day on Patreon.
Yeah, plug it.
5 days a week. Show up. if you back my Patreon at the lowest level, which is $5, you get access to my blog, which is daily posts about old comic books that I drew. But I'm posting the inks, and I'm posting character designs that I've done in the past for projects that have happened that haven't happened, and I'm posting previews of stuff I'm working on. Like I just posted some cool shots of a action figure that I designed, and it has some 3D turnarounds and stuff. And once a month, I'll be giving a free book as a digital download. So check it out. It's Patreon/Kyle Strahm. www.patreon/Kyle Strahm. Let's see if we can get me more followers than Cullen has.
That's
That would be
important.
fine.
What's your
Although
Patreon?
I'm also going to say, please back me on Patreon. And these days more than ever, I think creators Patreon can be a decent way for creators to make ends meet. So my Patreon is just my name, just like Kyle's address, just my name. But I think that people should back both of them.
I don't have a
that
Patreon.
would be
I'm too
good,
lazy.
Don't
have
At the time, all you're doing is sitting there watching your giant
That's
television.
not what I'm doing. I'm working. Well, actually, that's what I was going to ask is what you guys are doing to keep yourself sane. And what I'm doing is working ahead on stuff that I hope will be jobs again once everything gets moving. So I'm working as though I have all of the jobs I did have.
I'm working as much as I can, but
Yeah.
it's weird at home. So
Yeah, I'm working when I can. I've kind of been battling with lack of motivation and being, just down and out about everything. I can't bring myself to work ahead right now. That's a good idea on the stuff that's not paying. It would be smart for me to be ahead on it, but I'm terrified it's not going to come back.
Well, yeah, and I don't have any guarantees, but I don't have any other way to make money. And sitting down and working when I normally work makes the day feel no more normal. I've been making myself exercise too. A couple of days that I just was depressed and decided against it were way worse. So I signed up for Daily Burn, which it's an app, but it has a bunch of different workout at home videos and things you can do. And that's been kicking my ass.
Well, that's
But
good.
I feel better. Yeah. You can trick your brain chemistry with exercise. It'll make you feel like you're happy because it pumps you full of brain drugs.
There you go.
Recommend that.
Well, folks, if you like this video, please subscribe to our channel.
Mm-hmm.
Please give it a thumbs up. If you listen to it as a podcast, give it a like and leave it a review.
comment with your craziest convention story.
We'd love to hear some crazy convention stories, and maybe we'll even talk about them.
And if we accidentally talked about you in our convention stories, tell us how much you hate us.
Yeah.
In musical form, hopefully. If you are the person who asked all your questions as, do you want to build a snowman, please record a video of you asking.
And if you are Bunn Claymore, we'll all give you a bunch of free comics.
You can come on the show.
Great. All right. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon. Dennis, tell them what we're going to be next time.
What do you mean what we're going to be next time?
You always say it. I'll say it for you. We'll do better next time.
Oh, we will do better next time.
Did we do better this time? I think we did.
Well, my phone's I'm not even the right shape of video, and it's been moving around. I think I can do better next time.
You're the wild card.
Yep.
I mean, I'm the villain of the show, to be sure.
Look at
It's
Kyle.
not my intention. That's what everybody thinks I'm a bad person, because I make jokes and I make fun of you. But I make fun of you out of love and respect.
All right.
You better be glad there's social distancing right now if you start making fun of me. Right now, while we can't be near each other, is the time for you to make fun of me, because otherwise there's going to be a knock at your door.
Okay.
You're going to open it, and there won't be anybody there. And Cullen will be hiding in the bushes.
Oh, no. There'll be a bag of burning poop.
All right.
We have something that gets added somewhere. I don't know.